my name is Bella and I'm here to talk about books with you. I just finished reading Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. I loved this book. It was so beautiful and I've been telling everyone I know to go pick it up and read it. So that includes you too. Go pick it up and read it. This book is about an extremely dysfunctional family with many, many secrets, and the main character, her name is Merit. She is 17, and it's just kind of a story about the way she deals with these secrets and how she grows up, and it's very beautiful and very relatable, and you should go read it. Now for the part where I talk about some spoilers. A small thing that I really loved throughout this whole book was that Sagan, that's his name, right? Sagan, we could see his drawings in the book rather than just describing them. I actually got to see them, and I would stare at them for a long time. Just be like, wow, this is really cool. Oh my gosh, the most intense chapter was when she wrote that letter. I was like, what? And when she walked in on Luke and Yuta, what? I was definitely mind blown then. But I think my favorite part about this book, and the main thing that I want to talk about, is how human it was. For me at least, usually when I read a book, the protagonist is a fairly annoying character. Yeah. And they usually stay that way throughout the entire book or throughout the entire series. And everyone around them just grows to love them and embrace their stupidity. That's super annoying. It's like no one ever calls out characters for being stupid. This book did. Like, the main character, Merit, I love her, but at the same time, she was definitely a child. She was a child who was throwing a tantrum. But Sagan called her out on that. And he's like, basically, grow up and stop being a baby. And it was so refreshing because not only did he tell her that, but she also listened. Not at first, of course. It was realistic. She was in denial for a long time. But then she listened and learned and changed. And you could see her growth. And it was one of the most beautiful things. And I found it so refreshing and so enjoyable. And that's why I really loved this book. This book was also one of those books where I was hooked instantly. Like the first chapter when Sagan kissed Merit and then he gets the phone call from Honor and he's like, wait, I thought you were standing right in front of me. I was like, oh, what? Oh my god. That was definitely I like that. Obviously everyone loves when books just get you immediately and you can't put it down. I was reading some comments on Goodreads, and I usually don't like to do this because A, they're fairly harsh and it hurts me personally, even though I'm not this author, nor did I have anything to do with the production of this book, but it hurts me personally because how could you say such negative things about that book? Okay, you didn't like it. Get on with your life. I don't know. I just feel, I'm not saying that you shouldn't share your opinions. I've read plenty of books where I'm like, not really my cup of tea. But I do know that for other people, those books change their life. That's the beauty of books. They touch everybody differently. And for me, this book touched me deep. And it was amazing. And it pains me when people put down books or put down other readers just because of the type of books they like or how fast they read or anything. And it pains me because, yeah, I know this book is not amazing. It's not the best book I've ever read. But for at this point in my life right now, it was exactly what I needed. And it affected me that way. And again, it is just so painful that people put it down and say such hateful, negative things to it without realizing how detrimental that can be. Anyways, enough of the serious. Another thing I loved is that she collected trophies. It was so random and so quirky, and I don't know, I liked that that was just her thing. Another thing that I thought was so simple but so sweet and well done throughout the whole book was Moby, and now he can't tell time. Like, it warmed my heart every time. He's like, yeah, you told me like 10 years ago. It's like, that is the cutest thing. And then like with Merit's relationship with him, it just made me smile every time. Another thing I really enjoyed is that the climax was literally like in the middle of the book, rather than, you know, the usual like exposition, rising action, climax, and then a quick falling action. The climax was kind of like in the middle of the book. And I know that's not traditional, but I think it fit for this story because it was definitely like, okay, shit just went down, but I still have like at least 100 pages left. What the fuck is gonna happen? You know that fear when reading and you're like, it seems like it should be okay, but it's not. I still have too much of the book left. What's happening? And it's scary, but I think Colleen Hoover did a really good job with that because she showed that it takes time. That it takes time to admit to yourself that something's wrong and to admit that you do need help. And it wasn't just like, crazy, happy ending, it's all good. And that was really refreshing too. I also loved that scene was like, no, I'm not gonna date you because you need to love yourself first. Because that is so rare in a love story, and that was one of my favorite parts too. I loved like every one of this whole book. This whole book was like my favorite part. I also want to share some of my favorite quotes that I found while reading on page 100. I also don't trust people who claim for a classic to be their favorite novel. I think they're lying just to sound educated, or they simply haven't read another book beyond high school English requirements. I loved that. I feel the exact same way. There are so many better books than just a classic. They're called classics for a reason. Yes, they're amazing, some of them, but try new things. Like, there are so many better books than just the originals. Another one of my favorite quotes, page 115. She's the type of girl who allows the attention from guys to value her worth. I know this is like an insult, but I really love the way it was phrased, and I've never thought of it in that way, and it was really, really cool. I also loved, this is like around 3:30-ish, 3:35-ish, Luke's speech to Merit and convincing her that no one's normal, and that's okay. It's normal to not be normal, and that she can't control being depressed. And it was just, it hit me. I was crying so hard during that scene because I felt that way, and I struggled with my own anxiety and depression and just feeling like, what's wrong with me? But it's more than that. It's nothing's wrong with you. It's just who you are, and that's okay, and it's okay to ask for help, which is something that I very much struggle with. I also really thought how sweet Honor and Merit's reunion was in the van, and bitch you, that's adorable. I loved that whole little inside story. I actually loved whenever Merit would like do flashbacks to when Honor and her used to be close as kids. It made me so happy, and I honestly wish there were more. I don't know about you guys, but I also changed while reading this book. In the beginning with Merit, I very much felt everything she was feeling. I probably just, again, because she's a protagonist, so we only know how she's feeling, but I was like, yeah, everyone in her fucking family sucks. Like, they're all stupid, and Merit's the victim. But then you learn so much more, and I found myself like, crap, like I was judging these characters before I even knew them. I only knew what Merit told me, yet there was so much more there. And so I really loved how Colleen Hoover was able to convince me to judge these characters and to feel the same way as Merit, and then to change and grow also, and to learn the importance to not judge something and to be open to forgiveness. Like the quote, "Not every mistake deserves a consequence. Sometimes the only thing it deserves is forgiveness." Such a valuable lesson when growing up. I liked how casual they talked about mental illnesses in this book, because it should be talked about openly. And at first it was like a big secret with her mom's illness, but her dad shared it and they all understood, and she felt more sympathetic for her mom. And that was really reassuring. And I think with more books like these, of openly talking about your problems, and then more people understanding and accepting them, I think it's really beautiful. So I give an A+ to Colleen Hoover's Without Merit, by far. And again, it's not the best book. For me, it touched me personally, but there was also so many underlining messages throughout, and I think it did a really phenomenal job. So if you have not read it yet, you really should go pick it up, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye!